Hey friends, Miss Cassie here with Solon Public Library's Digital Storytime. This month we're talking all about questions. And this week we are going to be asking the question, who? A lot. But first, we need to sing our welcome song and we need to get our clapping hands ready. So we're gonna wiggle our fingers and shake our hands and rub them together really fast, really fast, really fast. And put them on our knees. Okay, here we go. If you wanna read a book, clap your hands. If you wanna read a book, clap your hands. If you wanna read a book, have a seat and take a look. If you wanna read a book, clap your hands. What do we do after we clap our hands? That's right, we stomp our feet. If you wanna read a book, stomp your feet. If you wanna read a book, stomp your feet. If you wanna read a book, have a seat and take a look. If you wanna read a book, stomp your feet. What do we do after we stomp our feet? That's right, we twirl around. If you wanna read a book, twirl around. If you wanna read a book, twirl around. If you wanna read a book, have a seat and take a look. If you wanna read a book, twirl around. All right, for our last verse, we're gonna be as quiet as we can. And we're gonna whisper, hooray. If you wanna read a book, whisper hooray, hooray. If you wanna read a book, whisper hooray, hooray. If you wanna read a book, have a seat and take a look. If you wanna read a book, whisper hooray, hooray. Our theme song this month is called Questions, and we're going to count the questions on our fingers as we go through. So it'll be who, what, where, when, and why. Here we go. We all have questions, yes we do, and this is how we ask them. Who, what, where, when, why? Who, what, where, when, why? Who, what, where, when, why? And that is how we ask them. Yay! Our first book today is called Whose Hat Is This? And it's written by Sharon Katz Cooper and illustrated by Amy Bailey Muhlenhart. Whose hat is this? All right, here's our first hat. Get a good look. Whose hat is this? So bright and shiny. Who wears that kind of hat? That's right, it's a firefighter's helmet. She runs into burning buildings to put out fires, and her helmet keeps her head safe from falling objects and extreme heat. Okay, here's the next one. Whose hat is this hanging over a face? What kind of hat has a piece that hangs over your face? It is a beekeeper's hat. A beekeeper raises bees for honey. She reaches into hives buzzing with bees to get the honey, and her hat covers her face to protect her from bee stings. That would be very important if you were working with bees, wouldn't it? All right, here's the next one. Whose hat is this? So tall and clean. It's white, it's tall. This is a chef's hat. His hat is also called a toque. That is French. His white hat shows that his kitchen is clean. The chef in charge of a restaurant wears the tallest hat. Oh, I like that. You know who's in charge because their hat is the biggest. Okay, whose hat is this with a polished silver badge? Do you have a guess whose hat is that? That's right, it's a police officer's cap and is a part of her uniform. A police officer's cap helps people find her quickly in a crowd because no one else will be wearing the same cap. All right, this is our last one for today. Whose hat is this? So round and strong. Do you have a guess who wears a hat like that on their head? This is a football player's helmet. When one football player tackles another one, his helmet keeps his head safe if he hits the ground or hits another player. All right, and there are even more hats in this book. You can check it out from the library to read them all. Some of the hats that we read about are hats that people wear for their jobs. So we're going to sing a song called What Is My Job? And we're going to ask who is the person who does these jobs. Are you ready? Here is our first verse that is a clue to our first person. What is my job? What is my job? Can you guess? Can you guess? I help people get well. I help people get well. Who am I? Who am I? Can you think who has a job that helps people get well when they are sick? If you said doctor, you are correct. Some other jobs that help people get well would be nurses, or maybe even like physical therapists or surgeons. There's all kinds of jobs that people have that help our bodies get better. All right, here's the next one. Ready? What is my job? What is my job? Can you guess? Can you guess? I can teach you new things. I can teach you new things. Who am I? Who am I? Who has a job that teaches other people something new? What do you think? If you said teacher, you are correct. Other people who teach others new things might be a professor at a university, or maybe a parent, right? Our parents teach us new things all the time. Yeah. Okay, let's see. We're going to do one more verse. Are you ready for this one? This one is maybe my favorite. What is my job? What is my job? Can you guess? Can you guess? I can help you find books. I can help you find books. Who am I? Who am I? What do you think? Who has a job where they help you find books and games and puppet kits and information? Who do you think that is? If you said a librarian, you are correct. That's what all of us do here at the library, right? We help you find books and information and other things that you are looking for that you can check out and take home or use here at the library. Good job, friends. Okay, I have some animal friends here, and they are a little lost. They need help finding their homes. So we're going to ask who lives here. So one of our homes we have is this tree right here. So we want to ask who lives in the tree. Do you think that it is our turtle friend? Does a turtle live in a tree? Nope, a turtle doesn't live in a tree. What about a goat? Does a goat live in a tree? No, a goat doesn't live in a tree. What about a squirrel? Does a squirrel live in a tree? Yes, a squirrel lives in a tree. Right there, that little hollow in the tree. Perfect. Okay, next we have a dark cave. Who lives in a dark cave? Does a goat live in a dark cave? Nope. This goat doesn't live in a dark cave. What about a bat? Does a bat live in a dark cave? Yes, some bats do live in dark caves, including this one. All right, next we have a pond. Who lives in a pond? What do you think? Does the goat live in the pond? No. Sometimes goats like to splash in ponds, maybe, but goats don't live in ponds. What about a turtle? Does a turtle live in a pond? Yes, it does. Turtles love water, and they also love to climb up on warm rocks to sit in the sun. All right, our last home we have left is a barn. Who lives in a barn? We have one animal left. Let's make sure they're in the right place. Does a goat live in a barn? Yes, this goat does. Right in that red barn. Did everybody find their homes? Yes, they did. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 friends who are nice and snugly in their homes. Good job, friends. Our last book today is called Orangutans Build Nests. Did you know that? Do you know what orangutans are? Look at the picture. Orangutans are a kind of monkey. Did you know that they build nests in trees just like birds do? That's pretty cool. I didn't know that. This book is written by Elizabeth Raum and illustrated by Romina Marti. Let's find out more about these giant monkey nests. That sounds so cool. On 2 faraway islands in Asia, orangutans swing through their rainforest habitat. Do you know what a habitat is? A habitat is the environment, the place where different animals live. So like a squirrel's habitat is the forest or neighborhoods, right? They live in our backyards. But an orangutan habitat is the rainforest. Mama orangutan teaches baby how to find food. And when they grow tired, Mama looks for a place to sleep. Orangutans are solitary. That means they usually live alone. But babies stay with their mothers for several years, so they can learn how to be orangutans, right? For an afternoon nap, Mama builds a quick nest. But now it's late. Every night she builds a new strong nest for a good night's sleep. So it's not really like a bird where they build a nest and then they stay there for the whole season. Orangutans build new nests every day. That's a lot of nests. The first step is to find the right tree. Not this tree. Why do you think this tree is not the right tree? That's right, it already has some animals living in it, right? What are those animals in that picture? Yeah, they're bats. These are fruit bats. And so there's no peace and quiet in a fruit tree because noisy fruit bats eat all night. And other hungry animals may stop for a late night snack or an early breakfast. So not a good tree for an orangutan nest. But this one works. It has a thick trunk and strong branches. The leaves provide shade from the sun, and they help keep rain away. Mama chooses a sturdy branch or a group of branches to hold her nest. Baby watches as Mama builds. Mama stands on a branch and bends big branches toward the center. The branches snap, but they don't break off, right? So they're still connected to the tree. And look, monkeys can use their hands or their feet to grab things. So you can see the mama orangutan is using her hands to grab branches and her feet to grab branches at the same time. So these branches form the base of the nest, the bottom of the nest. It must be very strong because orangutans are heavy. They weigh as much as a grown-up human. Oh my gosh, so orangutans can weigh as much as I do. That would have to be a strong tree to hold me up all night. Mama adds small leafy branches to the base, and she braids the tips together so they form a mattress, right? A soft spot for them to lay. The nest is the strongest around the edges, and the middle is soft and bouncy. Mama works fast. Building a nest only takes about 15 minutes. Oh my goodness, 15 minutes is just a little bit shorter than this story time. So if an orangutan started building a nest at the beginning of story time, by the time we were finished with story time, the nest would be done. No wonder they can build a new one every day, right? Finally, Mama adds special touches. She piles small leafy twigs at one end, and these are the pillows. She makes a blanket of leafy branches. Oh, that sounds cozy. And if it rains, she uses a big leaf like an umbrella. Mama and her baby are high in the canopy. Canopy is like the tops of the trees. The leafy world at the top of the rainforest. Tigers roam the forest below. So do clouded leopards and human hunters. But Mama and baby are safe sleeping up high in their nest. That's why they want to sleep in the trees and not on the ground, right? It's safer up in the top of the trees. After a good night's sleep, Mama orangutan and baby wake up. They swing through the branches in search of tasty fruit. Maybe they'll go back to that fruit tree that we saw before. Later, baby takes apart an old nest to learn how they are built. He tries to build his own nest, but it's a mess. He needs years of practice. He'll sleep in Mama's nest for now. Have you ever seen something and then taken it apart to figure out how it fits together? Yeah, humans learn that way just like baby orangutans do. And then look here at the end, we can see a map of where orangutans live in the world and also an idea of how you could practice building a little mini orangutan nest at home. Oh, that looks like fun. All right, friends, this is the end of our story time this week. Now, don't forget to write down your secret code for story time. This week, the code is JOB, J-O-B. Make sure you write that down so you get points for your winter library challenge. But now it's time for our goodbye song. We read a book and we played a game and we sang a song together. We read a book and we played a game. We had a fun adventure. Now go read a book and go play a game and sing a little tune. Go read a book and go play a game. We'll see you back here soon. See you next time, friends. Bye.